Ladies and gentlemen, we have begun that final step. We are on our way to January 2009, just 74 days until we Americans can join together to write a new page in our history. When we Americans join together to forge a new path to our future. When we Americans come together to begin our search for the next American Idol. Yeah, American Idol is great, and music is great, but we don't utilize music enough to help us get through those hard times each and every day, those times that we find frustrating or irritating. My suggestion for getting through those times: spontaneous outbursts of song. Are you and your boss having a heated and contentious disagreement because you failed to review the monthly budget analysis on time? Or because you were caught drinking on the job? Again? Why not offer your boss a little turn around? You are totally going to be greeted with, every now and then I get a little bit lonely and a little... It is going to be an amazing, groundbreaking moment for you and your boss. Or possibly the most awkward 5 seconds of your career. Are you sitting in a meeting bored out of your mind because people are just talking and talking, but they're not saying anything and they're not making any decisions? Why not offer up a little I mean, it will be just a short few moments before someone offers up and if they don't at first, just keep going. Stay committed. Thanks to you, that once dull meeting will be alive with song and probably dance. Are you bored and hungry while standing in line at lunchtime for a hoagie? Why not entertain those around you with a little, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have. See, it totally works. And ladies and gentlemen, I admit, maybe I'm dating myself by using these references to the 80s. Well, I'm not really dating myself because that would be weird. I'm not my type. But things are different from the 80s. They're different from when we were growing up and when we were kids. I mean, did you know that these days you can't even leave the hospital with a newborn until you have a safety seat that is installed in your car and has been approved by the authorities? It's a far cry different from when we came home from the hospital. Here's my journey home from the hospital. A 1968 Kelly Green Volkswagen Bug. My brother John is doing somersaults in the back seat. My dad's driving, and my mom's in the passenger seat. Mind you, none of us are wearing seat belts because our car had none. My mom has me nestled in her arm, a Virginia Slim burning between these fingers, and a jigger of gin in this hand. Oh, and an array of steak knives on her lap. It was perhaps the most unsafe journey anyone could possibly take in a vehicle. Until my little brother came home from the hospital just 3 years later. The hospital sent Matthew home in what they called a car crate. It was a plastic-lined cardboard box that sat on the floorboard of the car. And he rode around in that crate for the first year of his life. If my dad would slam on the brakes, Matthew and his little car crate would just slide up under the dash. Safety at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I continue, my mom is here tonight. Yay for Mom! And I do have to tell you, she wasn't drinking or smoking. My mom's always been kind of a goody-goody, and I believe her when she tells me that her high school days were filled with sock hops and soda shops. And I believe my mom when she tells me that her wedding day was the first time she ever applied fingernail polish. I mean, this is the lady who asked me when I bought my house 8 years ago if I financed it on the intercom. Yes, Mom, I did. And it went something like this. Boop. Yes, I'd like a bi-level townhome with minimal backyard space and neighbors who slam their cabinets all the time. Boop. It's the same lady who suggests on long road trips, hey guys, we should seek out a drive-by for burgers and fries. A drive-by and a drive-through are two totally different things. Granted, they're both going to kill you, but one's going to take a little bit longer. I digress. My point tonight is that things are different these days. I mean, these days, we are more educated. We're more cultured. We're more global. At least we'd like to think so. Unfortunately, Americans have a reputation for being horrible tourists. And on a recent trip to Mexico, I was determined to change that label that we've been given. So I pulled out my old Spanish tapes, Dos Mundos, a communicative approach to the Spanish language. And I brushed up on my Spanish-speaking skills. So there I was in this fancy little restaurant in the heart of Mexico City. And I had been tossing around, hola, and por favor, all day long. But my crowning moment, when I really proved to them that I was just one of the common people, would be when I approached the maitre d' in the restaurant and asked for directions to the bathroom. My Spanish tapes had taught me to say, hola, necesito usar el baño. ¿A dónde está el baño? Oh, I was so prepared. And I stood up from the table, I adjusted my sombrero, and I walked up to the maitre d', and as I approached him, everything I knew about the Spanish language shot right out of my head as I stood in front of him and said, the bathroom? How embarrassing. I just looked him in the eyes, and after a brief moment, I said, Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a great audience.
Brian King, ladies and gentlemen.